Hello everyone, Staltros here, bringing you another video, another update on FFBE JP. So today is just going to be a small video. We only have one new unit to cover, but also some EX bonuses and some NV Plus Awakenings, and some crowns as well. So some things to look at, nothing too crazy. And so the first unit we have to look at is Origin of Awakening Taivas, who is representing Season 4. To keep the trend going with, like season 1, 2, 3 units that we've had with Fina and Daisy, Roka, Last Will and Reagan, and then Rain and Veritas of the Dark. So now we have Taivas here, and we will probably get another banner. Well, no, we will get another banner as well representing season 4, which in my guess is going to be Rus and Nelica together on the next banner that we're going to get. But it could also be, who knows, Ronda and Van Harma, because they would go well together on a banner. Because no matter what you say, as soon as you get one of them, you can say that you got him, because it's the same person. Spoiler alert. I don't follow the story. I don't care. Anyway, we're talking about Taivas now. Let's not dwell into the future too much. Sounds like something weird to say. Anyway, so let's look at his categories to begin with. So he's got Fire, Ice, Lightning, and Earth, which if you paid attention to the brief for Dark Vision's Abyss, that will be starting with this, this update as well. These are all 4 of the weaknesses for the 2 bosses. So there's one boss that's weak to Fire and Ice, and sorry, another one that's weak to Lightning and Earth. So he's covering all 4 elements. So if you pull for him, no matter what element you're going for, he is probably going to make the team. Otherwise, he is also, of course, Season 4. He is also Rebellion, Royal Arms, Guardians, Elite Soldiers, and Swordmasters. Nothing too surprising here in terms of categories for him. Sadly, if you've been chasing the meta with Daisy and Fina last week, sorry, then he doesn't fit with them because he is neither a girl, even though he has luscious hair, nor a transcendent. And I guess he can't go with Roka. Oh no, he could go with Roka. Yeah, Roka can lead him with Earth. I was about to say he can't go with Roka because he's not gathering, but he is her he is Earth. Oh my god, pardon my French tongue. However, in terms of overdrives, it's always kind of awkward using Roka with those, so I guess he is not really going to be on a team with them. He is more likely going to be leading a team of elite soldiers with fire as the main focus. When we're going to look at his kit, you can understand a little bit more why. So, his TMR is a materia with 100% status element resist and 50% bird killer. We get something here on a TMR to replace Renoa's STMR Winged Heart. The only difference here being there's no elemental resistance and there is no 50% charm resist, but otherwise, you get the ailment resistance, which is pretty nice, and some avian killer if you need. His STMR is a great sword with 252 attack, which is par for the course. Also gives 75% beast and avian killer, which is by some wonderful it's a wonderful streak of luck, stroke of luck, whatever. The races for the Dark Vision's Abyss that is starting with the current banner, not banner update. So yay for that. His vision card, let's not talk about it because it's a vision card. His EX3 ability is a 50% beast overkiller, which is, in turn, one of the Dark Vision's Abyss races. So there you go. If we go look at his kit, he can only equip great swords, but I mean, it's usually what we're using anyway with everyone because this is the best type of weapon. At EX1, he gets the 500% LP damage buff, and at EX2, he gets the 300% amplify for fire, ice, and lightning only for himself. So no earth here. So sadly, he doesn't go too well on an earth team. And he is also not the kind to share with the team, so that's only for himself. The rest of the kit is the usual, some flavor things for the small imperils. His first interesting thing here is the 300% Beast and Avian Killer, and that's AoE. So once again, Dark Vision's Abyss, Beast, and Avian for the bosses. So there you go. He is the solution to both of these. He also has on a 6-turn cooldown for 5 turns a 200% Fire Imperil Field. We were waiting for this one for quite a while now, so here it is. Meaning that Fire Team is going to overtake the meta in quite a fell swoop, because it could still compete with Earth somewhat lately in Dark Visions. Like not the mega whale teams, but it could still be a very good contender for good damage. Even though they were still using only a 75% Imperil field. So now with a 200% Imperil field, 200% Amplify field, they are going to, well, destroy anything in their path if you have everything that goes together with it. Which I don't, so I will watch everyone enjoy their big Dark Vision score while I keep lagging behind with my somewhat functional Earth team. Yay, girls! Now he also has a 1000% stat buff only for himself, so he's not sharing it with anyone. Once again, he is a little bit of a selfish bastard. He has a chaining ability here at 17,500 times, which is much higher than the others we've seen lately. So at least his chaining ability is, it's not as good as an LB, but it's more serviceable, and it doesn't need any kind of mod buff. So you just use it, and that's it. He even has 100% amplify on it and a little bit of a stat buff. So, serviceable, and it's also AoE, which is very nice, which makes me think we might be seeing another Road to Glory soon, because they're giving us units that can do AoE. We'll see. He also has an ability here. If I'm not mistaken, this was his LB. Let me just go check real quick. Nope, it's not his LB. Oh no, it's the skill unlocked by his LB. Okay. Alright. So, sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. But here he has an ability that gives him 100% amplified to all 4 of his elements, 200% LB damage buff, and 300% attack buff, which is, garbage. You're never going to use this. However, if you use it after the ability that is unlocked by using his LB, then it's going to be 200% amplify for all 4 of his elements, 400% attack buff, and 300% LB damage buff for 3 turns, while also giving him 30 LB fill, meaning, you can use that twice to fill his LB gauge back to full, which is not too shabby on a longer fight, for example. He has here on a 5-turn cooldown a 70% mitigation, general mitigation for himself and a friend. Nothing to write home about, but can be helpful in a pinch. He has a 60% Greatsword Imperil. Once again, another field here for ice this time, so it's a 200% Imperil field for ice, for people who don't have Roka, but have what's his face? 200% ice was Reagan, wasn't it? Yes, I think so. So, they can work together. Yeah, he's elite soldiers too. So yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, it's me working things out in my head. And then he also has a Magnus ability for, once again, in a pinch against beasts, to mitigate magic and physical damage by 50% from beasts. Only for 1 turn, but it's AoE. So what I'm thinking is, this is probably going to be useful for some kind of shenanigans. The boss in Dark Vision's Abyss is going to pull with something that's uncoverable. We see that a lot lately. So brace yourselves if you don't plan on pulling for him, because you might have to find some ways around this damage that you won't be able to cover. It's just my thought. Might not be. Maybe I'm just like doomsaying, but I'm expecting it. Now, in terms of his passives, nothing really worth mentioning here. He's immune to charm. Would you look at that? Well, that's nice. Who needs Winged Heart when he already has charm resist? That's why. Anyway, he has a boost skill. His boost skill is the classic LB fill. So for the first 3 turns, his LB will be filled. automatically. He has 1 stack of guts and 2 autocasts here for some, nice things for first turn KOs. So if we look, one of them here is a 200% amplify for all his elements, a 400% attack buff, and 300% LB damage buff. So basically, that skill that you can cast after his after the skill unlocked by his LB. So those buffs are given here, and also an AOE 180% imperil for all 4 of his elements, and also 88 defense and spirit break, and 50% great sword imperil all together just by starting the fight, which is pretty nice actually. And oh, this is the ability unlocked by the LB, and it does basically the other part here. So yeah, I guess the beginning of the battle abilities will be replaced after you've cast the LB once by this, and the other ability, the upgraded ability here for the amplify and buffs, and both together will actually fill his LB to full, because there's some LB fill on this one as well. So this does the same thing as this here, but also gives him an extra 30 LB gauge fill, and it recovers 500 MP because this also costs 500 MP. So as long as you have 500 MP, this is not going to cost you anything. So it's a free cast. Nice. Now his leader skill is 2000% attack and magic buff to elite soldier units. So very good if you have, a good elite soldiers team with fire. I think ice as well is pretty good with elite soldiers. Don't quote me on that though, because I don't have the units to make it. His overdrives, once again, being, I don't want to call him the main piece because we haven't seen the other piece yet, and he's being thrown in first with a raid event, but it might just be a question of pacing. Anyway, as the poster, I'm gonna say the poster child for this anyway, for season 4, he is getting the classic overdrive by 1000% stat buff for himself only. So even though it's incrementing by sword masters, it is only applicable to him once he uses it, like the others. Also 50% category amplify for himself, and 400% LB damage buff. So that's for incrementing with sword masters, but only for himself. And then the other one, the one that he can share with other people, is for rebellion units, for a 600% LB damage buff. I think a lot of elite soldiers are also rebels, so that can work pretty well. Maybe bringing a little bit more synergy with Thunder teams with him right now. Does Thunder have the 200% imperil field yet? Not even sure. I don't think it does. So it's not quite there yet. But anyway, now his LB is the classic multi-element LB. We've seen it 1,000 times by now, so you can choose the element you want with it. However, there is a little twist with it. So first of all, it is a tag LB. But also what happens with it is he is going to imbue himself with the element you are using, so that if you go with the chaining ability afterwards, he's already going to be imbued. It can be good, but can also be bad if you're going for one burst on one element and then another burst with another element, because you don't have any other ways, unfortunately, to imbue him or get rid of that imbue to switch to another element. So that's a little unfortunate. And the damage is already elemental, so they could have maybe tailored his kit a little different. I'm not a fan of the forced imbue on this, but we'll see if it actually matters at some point. Anyway, that's an AMOE tag chain, and it unlocks the skill that we looked at earlier. It is a 2025 times LB. So, par for the course. So if I had to say, obviously, if you have a good fire team, he is an absolutely awesome unit. You're gonna want him right away. He is going to unlock your super scores in Dark Vision's Abyss. Personally, being, I am barely catching up with Earth Team, and I somehow pulled a Daisy. She's EX1, so I am not going to invest in Taivas for now because my Fire Team is unfortunately not that great since I don't have Season 1 Rain, I don't have a Rays of the Dark. So my fire units are a little lackluster right now. So that's a skip for me, but good luck to anyone who pulls for him. Now next we have Hell Ice Emperor Vlad. If you remember, this was a Dark Vision Abyss unit. Was it? No, he was the third one I think we got. So anyway, he was one of those units we never used. He is getting an NV plus Awakening. So like the other DVA units, you're gonna get the pearls through Dark Vision's Abyss rewards. Yeah, that's it. Nothing. Oh yeah, he's also getting EX abilities at the same time. So he's getting a 500% LB damage buff. He's also getting tiny bit of LB modifier here, along with some evoke damage buff and 100% ice amplify, which is nothing to write home about. But he's got that. Next he is also getting. Let me go down. Yeah, he's getting some stat buff here, some flat stats here. No change to the LB because he is getting a change to the GLB by being NV plus Awakened. So his LB, he's an SLB unit, so his LB will go to a 400 times because of the modifier buff. So 400 times evoke damage modifier. It is not great. As you know, evoke damage is severely gutted by the fact that they can't use the amplify fields, which are really, really strong at 200% amplify right now. So he's definitely not going to be joining your team for any, relevant content, I would say. But it's a free upgrade, so use it. Next, we have Fledgling Warrior. So this is Final Fantasy 1 Warrior of Light. The tank, the little tank unit. So Fledgling Warrior is getting an NV plus Awakening. He already had EX abilities before. So let's scroll down, but what he is getting, let's see, not this, not that. No, no, I guess it's in the shift form. Yeah, not that either. Anyway, his base form is basically just getting the NV plus new modifier for the LB. There's no change to the defensive side of it, so it's still 70%. Yeah, still 70% mitigation, and it's still and still 75 racial mitigation. None of which are covered in the Dark Visions of Abyss, by the way. So if you were thinking of using him for that, no. He does go to a well, base form is not really where the damage, and I'm doing quotes here, air quotes. That's not really where the damage at. Unfortunately, even though like he could get modifier buffs, he is still going to be absolute garbage with his damage because even if he's an NV plus unit at like 2000 something modifier, he's still scaling with defense, and his defense is going to be like down the drain. It's going to be like so low, it's not even worth talking about him as a damage option. So cute but useless. Thank you, Alan. Now we're gonna go look at his shift form, where we can find a tiny bit of redemption value to him. So what you might have forgotten is on his cooldown here, so the Fortune cooldown, he could give an LB modifier buff to everyone, and it has been increased. You can awaken this. So it is giving 250 times LB modifier buff to, well, basically everyone. So magic damage, well, yeah, okay, so physical damage with defense scaling, so for him, magic damage with spirit scaling, no one's using this anymore. Physical damage with increase, magic damage with increase. And it is also giving a 50 times for those who are using ignore defense or ignore spirit, and also 50 times for evoke damage, which is, something. You're still not going to be using them, but it's something. And an extra 60 for himself as well. So for himself, it would be an extra 310 times modifier. And once again, I can't stress this enough. This is not going to be a modifier that makes him worth bringing to the fight. Okay, let's be honest. It is not going to change his usefulness, but he can use, oh wow, I missed that. By awakening this here, he gets this ability, which decreases the cooldown of his abilities by 2. Huh. And he casts it every turn. Oh. So maybe he's gonna be able to omni cover a little bit more. Yeah, not that much. Anyway, so even with that, I can't stress this enough. He is not going to be a big damage option, because even at 2,300 times, well, 2,310 times, this is still extremely low. It's locked to light, and he's giving some extra modifiers to other units, but you need to kind of lose a unit to bring him, and his damage is never going to be worth it for the small increase you're going to give other people, in my opinion. If you need a physical tank that can cover light damage, why aren't you using Daisy? Why aren't you using Squall? Those are much better options, and they are bringing their own damage and utilities overall. But it's, once again, free upgrade. And I'm sure everyone and their sisters and their mothers already have that unit EX3 and started getting a little bit of the EX abilities. So, there's that. Next, we are giving some FF Tactics some love. So we have Unsung Hero Ramza, who is getting an NV Plus Awakening as well. Now we're going back to the usual program. There's no EX abilities for him, so it is only a little bit of a little ability awakening here, and the NV Plus, the NV Plus glow up, another ability awakening here for more flat stats. So for his base form, that's not really where the real damage, that is not really where the real damage is at. I'll make it. So if you look at the modifier buff, he gets the 100 here for the first 5 turns, and he has the modifier buff from his ability here for 500, so that's 600 extra. So his base form is going to go for 1750, which is lower than the meta, but I say lower than the meta, lower than the other NV Plus Awakened or EX abilities or crowned units that we've had lately. But if we go look in the shift form, then he has that extra 50 that we needed to bring him to 1800 times, which is on par with the others, and he can shift at any time. So, there's that. I will say I'm a little underwhelmed that they didn't give him, like any kind of other utility other than that. It's sad. He does have I'm gonna say on demand because it's for 5 turns. The 500 ALD damage buff on that ability as well, which is his modifier buff at the same time. I think he might be the first unit with it. That 100% uptime for it, which is nice, but definitely not enough to say, oh, Ramza's coming to that team because I need consistent damage from him. He's not going to be doing that much. He's not going to be pulling that big a weight. Next, 4 more tactics love. We have Steadfast. Steadfast. I don't know how to pronounce this. Steadfast. Yeah, Steadfast Knight Agreus. Feel free to laugh at me in the comments for my tongue being twisted and my poor pronunciation of English words. So she's getting the same thing as Ramza, basically. However, hers is only for 3 turns instead of 5. Why? Because she is a breaker, probably another damage dealer. That's why. So the only difference for her is she's an SLB unit instead of being a shift unit. She gets also a little lower stat buff, but the rest is the same. She doesn't have innately the extra 100 times modifier, so you need to give her like Last Will's STMR armor or Titus's STMR clothes to give her that, and the extra 500 or, you guessed it, 1800 times modifier. Unfortunately, once again, I'm a bit disappointed they didn't, like increase the modifier, not the modifier, sorry, the break numbers to at least 90% to make it a little bit more worthwhile. And how about like this being 200% for the imperils? Like, they're not breaking the meta. We already have much better than that on other units. We have on demand 180. This is an SLB. Like, you have to wait minimum 3 turns to use it. How about it's a little bit more worthwhile? Some units have the 90% on demand break. She is a breaker. You're giving her an NV plus. Give her some candy. Come on. Uh, anyway, enough of me being disappointed at tactics. Now, tactics adjacent, we have Ashen King Mont, which is a very, well, not very recent, but still quite recent unit, who is getting crowns. So for his crowns, he is getting very simple, just one thing. They really didn't they didn't go over and beyond for what they're giving. So as you can see, nothing in the active abilities. Oh, sorry, yeah, no, he's getting this. So he's getting here a 150 fire, ice, earth, and dark amplify for everyone. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the rest might have, this was probably already the same. The barrier maybe as well, and 400% LB damage buff on top of it. So I'm thinking this was added and this already existed on it. So he's getting some support for the team from it for all 4 of his elements that he covers. The other thing that he is getting, is the classic that we are getting all the time. So the modifier buff for his LB. So this is an extra 300 times modifier. And if you add everything together, with his modifier buff, the classic EX1, 2, 3 modifier buffs and everything, he is actually getting full-blown 2025 modifier for his LB. So an older unit being brought to the current meta with his crowns. If you have him, great, because he's he's a collab unit. And I know War of Divisions is not really that popular. Sorry, Maxi, I know you don't like hearing that. But I had to say it anyway, it's less popular. And so maybe people don't go crazy pulling for War of Divisions anytime it comes around. But for you who probably have it, for you, yeah, for you who have it, it might, it might be a very good, it might be a blessing in disguise. Like, you won't need to pull for Taivas because you're going to get this unit that is just as strong for, say, an ice team or an earth team, or no, not a dark team. Let's forget the dark team. But yeah, so pretty good for Mont. I am surprised that they gave him meta modifiers, considering everything else he has being like a pretty recent unit. So very good for elite soldiers. I mean, if you have Taivas, he's going to be led by Taivas, and he's going to fit in most of, if not everything, that goes with it. He is Sword Masters, he is Elite Soldiers, he's not Rebellion, never mind. Anyway, pretty good upgrade with the crowns for him. And now we have Blitz Ace Titus, who is getting some crowns as well. So if I remember correctly, we had EX enhancements for the older Titus not too long ago. So now this is NV plus Titus, who is getting crowns this time. So for him, his crowns are giving him no, there's nothing here. It's all in the passives. This is a +3. So what you're getting for him is a modifier buff once again. Would have known. So 700 times for him, which brings him to, unfortunately, only wait. Yeah, I didn't miscalculate that, did I? No, I did. Okay. So you got 700 here, another extra 100, so that's 800 plus. When I find it, yeah, this. So 920, bringing him all the way to 1800 times. So sadly, teacher's being a little older, I guess. He is not getting the preferential treatment that Mont is getting. So at least you get to bask in this, Maxi. um, but yeah, unfortunate. One got better crowns than the other. I guess it makes sense because I think Mont is a king anyway, so he's wearing the crown like a king, right? Anyway, so that's it for the units for this week. Now, in terms of events, what we are getting is a raid event for season 4. Um, so, if you pull for Taivas, you're going to have that. Otherwise, there's nothing much to go get there. It's, just a raid. So go and play it when you have orbs and enjoy some time off and go play some other things in the meantime. Or go finish trials if you've been too lazy and haven't done them. Now might be a good time. We also get a story event rerun. So it's probably your Charlotte event. So yeah, second season story event rerun. Go get some lapis there. Enjoy. And last but not least, once again, another rerun that was a Mod King event for War of the Visions, which was when Ashen Kingmont was released. So yeah, reruns and a raid dead week, but we are getting Dark Visions Abyss. So you can go and clear those 2 bosses, get the clear rewards, and if you feel like doing all your variance runs right away, it might be a good time because there's nothing else going on this week. So that's it. Nothing else to talk about. I will say, like last video and the video before, I did have music in the background. Unfortunately for this one, I forgot to go and get some season 4 music recorded beforehand, so I could have it for the video. I will try not to forget it for the next one because I do like having a little something in the background. And I'm sorry, Bear Day, I know you don't like it, but I enjoy having it, so I'm keeping it in the background. So next time I will think of it and I will go and get it ahead of time so I have it ready for the video. So good luck on your polls. Thank you for joining me and see you guys in the next one. Bye.